Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Time Wrap Studio. We're doing another session of our live streaming, which I try to do every Tuesday and Friday at 9 o'clock United States Central Time. And in today's session, I want to show you how I paint with gouache on black watercolor paper. The brand I'm using is Van Gogh paper. I just purchased it. I tried it one time. I liked it a lot, and I thought I will do a live stream showing how I paint on it. So this is my set, but I'm going to use half sheet so that our live stream doesn't take forever and ever. So I cut it in half, and I already sketched out my composition with white Derwent Intense pencil. And I did that because, first of all, regular pencil won't show on black, but then this is water soluble, so if I need to correct something, I just wet it a little bit and I wipe it with paper towel, so that works really well. Alrighty, I'm just checking to see that I think we're good with all the technology, and you can probably see the subject of today's sketch is one of my favorites, at Time Wrap Studio after all. So here you will see on your screen. I did a little preliminary sketch in Procreate just because I wanted to alter the reference photo. The reference photo is horizontal, but I wanted to have a vertical sketch. So I did a preliminary sketch in Procreate on my iPad. I actually have a class about my process of digital sketching, Procreate to paper. You can check it out on Skillshare and Udemy. And my pencil outline is ready, and without further delay, let's start sketching. So I have my giant palette here. I'll try to position it so you can see the colors that I'm mixing. I have my brushes. I used flat brushes when I tested this paper the first time. I think today I have one flat brush right here, but I'm gonna try to use my regular brushes. So I'm gonna squeeze out my paint. I'm gonna make two piles of white because I want to have one as clean white when I need it, and I'm gonna make another one so you can see it right here for mixing. Okay, what else do I need? I definitely need some blues for shadows. So I have some ultramarine blue. This is a new gouache set. It's Reeves brand. They're really economical. They're not very expensive, and I like them, but they're brand new. You can tell the binder separated in ultramarine blue a little bit, but I'll mix it on my palette. I don't like mixing greens, so I'm going to use yellow. Probably need more yellow and blue. I do like leaf green. I'll squeeze it out. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. Maybe for a little bit for some highlights. And I'm going to squeeze out some red because I want to mix an orange. And this set doesn't have an orange, but red and yellow is actually makes much better orange mixture usually than what you get out of the tube. All right, let's get started. We're going to start with the background. And I sketched in kind of like a trellis with flowers in the background. And this will be kind of like a negative painting in reverse because I'm going to leave darks as paper and I'm going to paint in the lighter colors. So let's see if I can do that. And with gouache, it's kind of like acrylics. You can go super dark first because then you won't be able to get out of there, you know. So I think I need to paint some flowers first and then work around them. So this is just, you know, fun little sketch. It's not anything, it's not even a serious piece of work, I think, but all creative work is a good exercise, and we want to kind of keep our creative juices flowing, test new materials, test new techniques, so it's all good. This is my orange mixture. Throw this in as well, just for variety. Maybe a few in the back won't hurt as well, a little orange. And I think this is good for flowers. And to me, I might have mentioned this before, gouache and acrylics. I mean, I love watercolor, but this is so much more relaxing. There's a lot less pressure to get things right the first time. You can make corrections. With watercolor, it kind of keeps you on the toes. So I'm gonna put in the background, the greens. I don't know if I'll be able to keep the trellis straight, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And while I'm working on this, I'll tell you guys I'm working on a new class. I'm gonna talk about how I sketch, I should say, how I sketch faces. I thought I'll give some pointers just from my experience, because a lot of artists feel a little intimidated painting a face, and they say, you know, yeah, I can sketch a person pretty quickly, but when it comes to faces, I really struggle. So I thought I'll share my experience in that regard. And I'm doing demos, and to do a successful demo, you have to kind of warm up and do some exercises yourself, and I'll be recording those exercises and posting them on my YouTube channel. So if you want to see them, don't forget to subscribe. And also on Friday, I will be doing live stream of me painting figure, so you can watch me paint, see my technique, and I will give some advice in what materials I use and how I mix them together. I really love mixed media, so you can check all that out. Alrighty, so this side is pretty much covered, and I do this kind of bit of dry brushing on purpose. I want to show my paper. I don't want the whole thing covered, and I can always cover it later. I feel like I need some highlights in the back there. Let's see what we can do. Maybe show like a vine. Of course, I got the biggest brush, but I think it will work. And maybe show that there are like some plants or grasses there or something. You want contrast in your artwork, so you need to have, you know, lights and darks, and the paper is black, so there has to be some light to create a contrast with paper. Maybe I'll use the sap green and see what happens. Oh, it's pretty bright. It's good for the foreground, I guess. I might have to lift those flowers that I have again. I don't think I got enough paint there, so they look pretty pale, or dark I should say, on this background, but I can always go over them one more time. And I'm doing those scrolly things, but I need to paint the tree too. Okay, let's see what we want to do on the tree. Probably want it to kind of ochre, like I have it in the sketch. So let's get some of that. Yeah, I think that will be good. Mix it with a bit of my red that I have here. And the cat is sitting on some sort of a concrete block, but I don't want to show that, so I think I'm gonna do it like it's a couple tree stumps that he's sitting on. You know, it's my artistic license to alter the reference however I want it. And the tree has this veins, so I'm gonna try to preserve the black. And I should tell you also that people ask me about using gouache, because you know, if you leave it on a palette it's gonna dry, and you can spray it with water, kind of like watercolor, and reconstitute it, but it's not going to be the same consistency as out of the tube. So what I recommend, as you see here, I'm squeezing out just enough, how much I think I will use for painting, and then every time you know, the rest I throw out, and then I squeeze out some more the next time. That's why I think that buying fairly inexpensive brand as Reeves, if you're just practicing and painting for yourself, you know, for your own pleasure, it's a great brand because it's not expensive and you don't feel bad about, you know, if you squeezed out too much, throw it away. You don't have to worry about that. Okay, here's my tree. What if we throw a little yellow in there? I think it will be good too. That's how I paint, you know, whatever paint I have on the palette, it's gonna work. I think I have some white in this mixture too, and white really helps to make the paint more opaque and cover the surface. Okay, this is our tree. Don't want those veins super thick. Just a hint that there is some texture there. Okay. I want to lift out those flowers some more. I'm going to take my small brush. And I have a paper towel here somewhere. Let's see what happens if I mix white with lemon yellow. Yeah, I get much better coverage, as you can see probably on screen. Paper buckles a little bit, but not too bad. If you work on the block, don't rip it off like I did. You shouldn't have any problem with buckling. You don't have to staple it or anything. Maybe I'll mix red with white as well and throw in some yellow, see what happens. Yeah, that's nice, kind of coral shade. I want to put it in the background, maybe just a few small ones. You know, you want to keep your background, you don't want it pop forward, so gotta be careful with what temperature of color you use in the background and in the foreground. Okay, and I think all we have left to do is our main character, the cat. So I think this brush will work. I'm going to take my pure white that I saved here, and I'm going to paint his fabulous white patches. A little water. With gouache, you know, with water, if you want to do wash, I mean, you have to watch your consistency. If you're doing your wash, you will obviously dilute it, but then you can play off on the kind of creamy texture of it and use it more in more creamy consistency. Makes it a lot of fun to use. And you can paint anything with gouache. People kind of view it as illustration, you know, material, but I've painted portraits with it and landscapes, still lifes, whatever you want. I mean, it's not as quick as watercolor where you can just kind of throw it on the page. With gouache, you have to do a little bit of, you know, careful work, but I mean, that velvety texture that you get, I think it's worth it. His cute paws right here. Using the tree as his scratching post. And you see I just apply straight white paint out of the tube as thickly as I can to cover the black. Belly is white as well, and he's got this shorts here and white socks. And his other paw. And what I'm going to do, his other paw is in shadow a little bit, so I'll just take another brush, small brush. And if I kind of drag the paper over and dilute it, you know, my black will show through and I will get a shadow. So that's really cool property of this paper, the way you can use it. And I'm also going to drag, see how he's behind is lit by sunlight, so I'm going to drag some white over black, but not thickly, but like a wash, and that way I can show the sunlight on his fur. He's got a few white hairs here, and I can also show, kind of spread his fur a little bit around to make it more fluffy. He's not solid, you know, he's textured, being a cat. And I hope you guys saw my videos. I have a few videos of another fluffy cat that I painted who actually lives in the same house with this cat. And I also have Sphinx cat that I painted a couple times, and she's a real beauty. So check out those videos and don't forget to subscribe to see more, because I always paint new stuff and I post it. Okay, and all we have to do, you see that I showed his tail, even though it's not in the photo, but I want him to have the tail. So I have a bit of white pencil here, which I'm going to wipe off with just clean brush with water. I'm going to get rid of that white pencil. It's Derwent Ink 10, so it's water soluble. And clean it up here too. Oh, you know what I forgot? He's got some white hairs in his ear. So it will be a little white triangle here. And he's got a bit of sunlight on top of his head. I have like a million brushes in my hand now, but I always end up this way. And I need to just bring out his back, that ear that's away from us in the back there. Bit of precise work here. The paper is very textured, so be prepared for that. And it kind of feels like it's I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like plasticky feeling on top of it. Maybe it's the process that they had to, you know, go through to make it black. But it's very sturdy, and I'm sure it can take a lot of abuse. You can probably, you know, wash stuff off and then add it back again. I'm looking forward to testing it with some pearlescent watercolors. And I'll probably do a video about that if my test is successful. Okay. I got distracted here with my leaves. Let's finish the cat's tail. He's got a bit of sunshine there, I can see, so I need to, oh, that's too much. Drag a little bit of white to show sunlight on black fur. Fluffy tip. What else we need to do? We need to paint his eye, and I have a weird black space here which needs to be green, of course. So I'm gonna fill this in. But not all the way to the tree, because I want like a shadow on the tree there. You know, this connection looks kind of weird. I think I'm gonna cover it up with like a plant that's growing out of that spot. You know, only when you can plan your painting, but only when you start working on it, it kind of comes to you what you need to do, and you see all those problems or you find interesting solutions. So no matter how carefully you plan, you have to also make decisions during the painting process. Okay,